Perfect. It is May 22nd, and tonight we are going to be reading from Second Samuel. We're starting a new chapter. Second Samuel 1, starting a new book of the Bible, excuse me. Second Samuel 1, 1 through 2:11, John 12, 20 through 50, Psalms 118, 21 through 29, and Proverbs 15, 27 and 28. I think tonight might only be about 15 minutes tops tonight. Looked a little smaller than normal. So before we get started, we'd like to do the Lord's Prayer. So if you will join in with me. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. For 2 Samuel, again, 2 Samuel 1, 1 through 2:11. Shortly after Saul died, David returned to Ziklag from his rout of the Amalekites. 3 days later, a man showed up unannounced from Saul's army camp. Disheveled and obviously in mourning, he fell to his knees in respect before David. David asked, "What brings you here?" He answered, "I've just escaped from the camp of Israel." "So what happened?" said David. "What's the news?" He said, "The Israelites have fled the battlefield, leaving a lot of their dead comrades behind, and Saul and his son Jonathan are dead." David pressed the young soldier for details. "How do you know for sure that Saul and Jonathan are dead?" Is I just I just happened by Mount Gilboa and came on Saul, badly wounded and leaning on his spear, with enemy chariots and horsemen bearing down hard on him. He looked behind him, saw me, and called me to him. "Yes, sir," I said, "at your service." He asked me who I was, and I told him, "I am an Amalekite." "Come here," he said, "and put me out of my misery. I'm nearly dead already, but my life hangs on." So I did what he asked. I killed him. I knew he wouldn't last much longer anyway. I removed his royal headband and bracelet and have brought them to my master. Here they are. In lament, David ripped his clothes to ribbons. All the men with him did the same. They wept and fasted for the rest of the day, grieving the death of Saul and his son Jonathan, and also the army of God and the nation Israel, victims in a failed battle. Then David spoke to the young soldier who had brought the report. "Who are you anyway?" "I'm from an immigrant family, an Amalekite." "Do you mean to say," said David, "that you weren't afraid to up and kill God's anointed king?" Right there, he ordered one of his soldiers, "Strike him dead." The soldier struck him, and he died. "You asked for it," David told him. "You sealed your death sentence when you said you killed God's anointed king." Then David sang this lament over Saul and his son Jonathan and gave orders that everyone in Judea learn it by heart. Yes, it even inscribed in the book of Jashar. "Oh no, gazelles of Israel, struck down on your hills, the mighty warriors fallen, fallen. Don't announce it in the city of Gath. Don't post the news in the streets of Ashkelon. Don't give those coarse Philistine girls one more excuse for a drunken party. No more dew or rain on you, hills of Gilboa, and not a drop from springs of wells. For there the warriors' shields were dragged through the mud, Saul's shield left there to rot. Jonathan's bow was bold. The bigger they were, the harder they fell. Saul's sword was fearless. Once out of the scarab, nothing could stop it. Saul and Jonathan, beloved, beautiful, together in life, together in death, swifter than plummeting eagles, stronger than proud lions. Women of Israel, weep for Saul. He dressed you in the finest cottons and silks, spared no expense in making you elegant. The mighty warriors fallen, fallen in the middle of the fight. Jonathan struck down on your hills. Oh, my dear brother Jonathan, I'm crushed by your death. Your friendship was a miracle wonder, love far exceeding anything I've known or even hoped to know. The mighty warriors fallen in the arms of war, broken to bits. After all this, David prayed. He asked God, "Shall I move to one of the cities of Judah?" God said, "Yes, move." "Into which city?" "To Hebron." So David moved to Hebron along with his two wives, Anoim of Jezreel and Abigail, the widow of Nabal and Carmel. David's men, along with their families, also went with him and made their home in and around Hebron. The cities of Judah came to Hebron, and then they made David king over the clans of Judah. A report was brought to David that the men of Jabesh Gilead had given Saul a decent burial. David sent messengers to the men of Jabesh Gilead. God bless you for this, for honoring your master, Saul, with a funeral. God honor you to be true to you, and I'll do the same, matching your generous act of goodness, strengthening your resolve, and do what must be done. Your master Saul is dead. The citizens of Judah have made me their king. In the meantime, Abner, son of Ner, commander of Saul's army, had taken Saul's son Ishbosheth to Mahoim and made him king over Gilead, over Asher and over Jezreel, over Ephraim, over Benjamin, king, as it turns out, over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he was made king over Israel. He lasted only 2 years. But the people of Judah stuck with David. David ruled the people of Judah from Hebron for 7.5 years. The breakdown of 2 Saul 1 through 2:11. David receives news that Saul and Jonathan have died in battle. Instead of celebrating the throne is finally open, David mourns deep. He honors Saul even after all the pain that Saul caused him. That reveals David's heart. He trusted God to promote him instead of forcing his own way. David then becomes king over Judah, but the nation is still divided. The lesson: character matters more than revenge. God can elevate you without you tearing others down. Honor, patience, and humility open doors that manipulation never will. John 12:20 through 50. There were some Greeks in town who had come up to worship at the feast. They approached Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee. Sir, we want to see Jesus. Can you help us? Just making sure we're still going. Philip went and told Andrew. Andrew and Philip told Jesus. Jesus answered, Time's up. The time has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Listen carefully. Unless a grain of wheat is buried in the ground, dead to the world, it is never any more than a grain of wheat. But if it is buried, it sprouts and reproduces itself many times over. In the same way, anyone who holds onto life just as it is destroyed destroys that life. But if you let it go, reckless in your love, you'll have it forever, real and eternal. If any of you wants to serve me, then follow me. Then you'll be where I am, ready to serve at a moment's notice. The Father will honor and reward anyone who serves me. Right now I'm shaken, and what am I going to say? Father, get me out of this. No, this is why I came in the first place. I'll say, Father, put your glory on display. A voice came out of the sky. I have glorified it, and I'll glorify it again. The listening crowd said, Thunder. Others say, an angel spoke to him. Jesus said, The voice didn't come for me, but for you. At this moment, the world is at crisis. Now Satan, the ruler of the world, will be thrown out. And I, as I am lifted up to the earth, will attract everyone to me and gather them around me. He put it in this way to show how he was going to be put to death. Voices from the crowd answered, We heard from God's law that the Messiah lasts forever. How can it be necessary, as you put it, that the Son of Man be lifted up? Who is the Son of Man? Jesus said, For a brief time, still, the light is among you. Walk by the light you have, so darkness doesn't destroy you. If you walk in darkness, you don't know where you're going. As you have the light, believe in the light. Then the light will be within you and shining through your lives. You'll be children of the light. Jesus said all this and then went into hiding. All these God signs he had given them, and they still didn't get it. Still wouldn't trust him. Proved that the prophet Isaiah was right. God, who believed what we preached, who recognized God's arm outstretched and ready to act. First, they wouldn't believe. Then they couldn't. Again, just as Isaiah said, their eyes are blinded, their hearts are hardened, so that they wouldn't see with their eyes and perceive with their hearts and turn to me, God, so I could heal them. Isaiah said these things after he got a glimpse of God's overflowing glory that would pour through the Messiah. On the other hand, a considerable number of the ranks of the leaders did believe. But because of the Pharisees, they didn't come out in the open with it. They were afraid to getting kicked out of the meeting place. When push came to shove, they cared more for human approval than God's glory. Jesus summed it all up when he cried out, Whoever believes in me believes not just in me, but in the one who sent me. Whoever looks at me is looking, in fact, at the one who sent me. I am the light that has come into the world so that all who believe in me won't have to stay any longer in the dark. If anyone hears what I'm saying and doesn't take it seriously, don't reject him. I didn't come to reject the world. I came to save the world. But you need to know that whoever puts me off refusing to take in what I'm saying is willfully choosing rejection. The word made flesh, and I have spoken, and I am the word, and no other is the last word. No other is the last word. I'm not making any of this up on my own. The Father who sent me gave me orders, told me what to say and how to say it. I know exactly what his command produces. Real and eternal life. That is all I have to say when the Father told me, I'll tell you. Breakdown in John 12:20 through 50, some Greeks want to see just Jesus, and Jesus begins speaking about his coming death. He says a seed must die to produce fruit. In other words, sacrifice comes before multiplication. Hmm, ain't that the truth? Sacrifice comes before multiplication. Jesus also warns that many people saw miracles but still refused to believe because their hearts were hardened. Jesus makes it clear he came as light into darkness. Whoever follows him doesn't have to stay lost. The challenge in this passage is that most love the approval of people more than the approval of God. The lesson: you cannot fully chase God while needing human applause. Real fruit comes through surrender. There it is again. Real fruit comes through surrender. Psalms 118:21 through 29. Thank you for responding to me. You've truly become my salvation. The stone the masons discarded as flawed. I now the capstone is now the capstone. This is God's work. We rub our eyes, we can hardly believe it. This is the very day God acted. Let's celebrate and be festive. Celebrate salvation now, God, salvation now. Oh yes, God, a free and full life. Blessed are you who enter into God's name. For God's house we bless you. God is God. He has bathed us in light, adorn the shrine with garlands, hang colored banners above the altar. You are my God, and I thank you. Oh my God, I lift high your praise. Thank God, he's so good. His love never quits. Psalms 118:21 through 29. This is a psalm of victory and thanksgiving. The famous verse says, the stone of the builders rejects has become the cornerstone. What people overlook, God can establish his foundation. This points prophetically to Jesus, but it also reminds us that rejection is not the end of the story. This is the day the Lord has made, is a declaration of joy and trust regardless of circumstances. The psalm ends with praise and thanksgiving because God's mercy endures forever. The lesson: what God ordains cannot be canceled or rejected, delayed, or opposition. Proverbs 15:27 through 28. A greedy and grasping person destroys community. Those who refuse to exploit live. That is, okay. A greedy and grasping person destroys community. Those who refuse to exploit live and let live. Prayerful answers come from God, loyal people. The wicked are sewers of abuse. The breakdown of Proverbs 15:27 to 28 says these proverbs warn against greed and careless words. The greedy person troubles their own house, but integrity brings peace. The righteous think before they speak, while the wicked speak recklessly. Excuse me. The lesson: wisdom slows down before reaction. Wisdom slows down before reaction. Your words can either heal situations or create fires that later regret. Guard your motives and guard your mouth. If no one told you today, I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for joining in. Tomorrow will be May 23rd. Looking forward to another night. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have a better good evening, and we will see you tomorrow night. Thanks.